2019 saw Avengers Endgame replace Avatar as the biggest film in box office history. Sadly, not every film can be a success. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 biggest movie flops of 2019 so far.
The most worthwhile path, my young friends, is seldom the easiest.
For this list, we're looking at films released in the first half of 2019 that underperformed at the box office. Some of these were actually well-reviewed. Many were not, but they all failed to connect with audiences and turn a respectable profit.
Sure, Uglyville may be crushed, but we both know Moxie will never give up. Without you around, the rest of them will stay away forever.
Number 10. Shaft.
Case closed.
John Shaft is a pop culture icon. Originally played by Richard Roundtree in the 70s, Shaft got a new lease on life in the year 2000 when Samuel L. Jackson took up the mantle as John Shaft II, the original character's nephew. Its success established Shaft as a character with timeless appeal.
Today, we're gonna get our money's worth.
Or so we thought. This 2019 film retconned Jackson's character to make him the son of the original Shaft, and introduced a third-generation Shaft played by Jesse T. Usher. Sadly, more Shafts isn't always better. All three characters wind up feeling underdeveloped, while the film as a whole seems unsure of what it's trying to be. It failed to make back its budget, earning only $21.3 million at the box office.
We're invisible.
Boys got skills.
Number 9. Captive State.
We're searching for ghosts, Bill.
If we don't act now, we're facing a full-blown insurgency.
I suggest you keep that idea to yourself.
At first glance, Captive State looked like it had the potential to be the next District 9. Unfortunately, the more people saw of Captive State, the more it gave off a direct-to-streaming vibe. Maybe that's why nobody showed up to see it in theaters. Everyone just assumed it would pop up in the new arrival section of Netflix. The film's release date was pushed back 7 months, and then moved up 2 weeks. Never a good sign. A sci-fi thriller set on a version of Earth that's been conquered by alien invaders, Captive State failed to thrill or captivate. And so, it earned a paltry $8.8 million at the box office, failing to recoup its modest $25 million budget.
Evidence will be analyzed by the legislature. In the meantime, as acting commissioner, you are to report to the closed zone for further orders.
Number 8. UglyDolls.
There's no reason to fret. What could ever be better than this?
We're not saying Kelly Clarkson's involvement should be considered a box office death sentence, but From Justin to Kelly is the sort of movie that casts a long shadow.
It's not what you see, but what I see.
And when the voice cast is primarily made up of stars better known for singing than acting, it doesn't exactly help matters. Cinemas are oversaturated with computer-animated kids' movies these days. But to make matters worse, this film felt very visually similar to the Angry Birds movie and the Emoji Movie, both of which, despite making money, received a lot of criticism. Really, is it any wonder that people didn't want to see a movie adapted from a toy line? Sure enough, UglyDolls barely made back half its estimated budget.
Sounds amazing, right? Wrong! Prototypes are not meant for public consumption.
Number 7. Tolkien.
It really has nothing to do with you.
Must be a very good friend, is he, sir?
He's the best.
We're gonna be honest with you, this one both surprised and disappointed us. J.R.R. Tolkien is one of the most celebrated and influential writers in history, and The Lord of the Rings continues to occupy a major place in popular culture. Based on those facts alone, a biopic about the author seemed destined to resonate with audiences. But add to that glimpses of Tolkien's fantastical creations that featured in the trailers, and this seemed like a sure thing, especially with a budget of just $20 million. Unfortunately, critics were unimpressed, criticizing the film's lack of imagination, an especially egregious error in depicting the life of a creative genius. And so the film floundered with just $7.8 million.
You used to write for pleasure.
I know
It was a passion.
I know it's pointless.
Number 6. The Kid Who Would Be King.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is the worst and best and most terrible and brilliant and frightening and excellent thing that's ever happened to me.
While we're on the subject of fantasy films, let's talk about the criminally overlooked second feature film from writer-director Joe Cornish. In 2011, he gave us the critically acclaimed cult classic Attack the Block. Having put his unique touch on sci-fi, Cornish next turned his sights on fantasy with this story about a young boy who finds King Arthur's sword in the modern day. Like Attack the Block, The Kid Who Would Be King was well received by critics. Unfortunately, again like Attack the Block, it flopped at the box office, making just $32.1 million against a budget of nearly $60 million. Profitability be damned. Be sure to check it out the next time you're looking for a family film. It's a lot of fun.
From the moment the sword was drawn, and your quest is lost before it has even begun. I trust that is not a problem.
Number 5, Replicas.
I had a lot of things on my mind, Ed.
Yeah, sorry, man. You're gonna have to deal with that.
It's Keanu Reeves' world. We're all just living in it. Between the John Wick franchise, his epic role as himself in Always Be My Maybe, and Toy Story 4's Duke Kaboom, we are truly witnessing a Keanu-sance.
Duke, we need
Hold on, one more. Oh, yeah.
2019 has been an insanely good year for the actor. So much so that when he starred in this colossal flop, nobody even really mentioned it.
Honey, I believe in you, but I don't like where this is headed. People could suffer.
Against a modest budget of $30 million, this sci-fi thriller pulled in a mere $8.2 million, even with its instantly recognizable star. So what went wrong? The movie itself. The trailer failed to make any sort of impression, which was actually a blessing in that so few people had to sit through this best-forgotten film.
The truth is I'm not sure how much longer I can keep the lights on. Turns out, colossal and repeated failure tends to spook shareholders.
Number 4, Missing Link.
You see, my mistake was relying on these newfangled cameras. We'll go back. We'll get some real evidence.
No, we shall not. You, sir, are on your own.
Hey, if you're gonna flop, at least do it in spectacular fashion. The budget for this stop-motion animated film was an estimated $100 million. Its box office haul? A quarter of that at $24.7 million. It's a real shame that so few people turned up though, because Missing Link is a great film.
I'll be the laughingstock of the club again.
Laika is the same studio that's given us such beautiful and unique films as Coraline, Paranorman, and Kubo and the Two Strings. And in terms of cast, the film was stacked with names like Hugh Jackman, Zach Galifianakis, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Fry, and more. The reviews were rock solid, so chalk this one up to poor marketing, bad timing, and the changing interests of modern cinemagoers.
Oh my dear, I think you've made a mistake.
You're right, it's me. How could you tell?
Number 3, Hellboy.
Don't you look handsome?
I'll take your word for that, Pops.
We've said it before and we will say it again. Give us a third Hellboy film from Guillermo del Toro. When it was announced that Hellboy was getting a reboot, the response was mixed, but many fans tried to approach the movie with an open mind based on the R rating and the involvement of creator Mike Mignola. Then the trailer dropped, and hordes of fans realized they were better off without it. Gore and respect for the source material a good film does not automatically make. It felt like a B-movie, and it lacked the heart that defined both the source material and the previous Hellboy films. And so, Hellboy made just $40.8 million against a budget of $50 million.
Somebody please get me a mint.
Number 2, Serenity.
Maybe you're bringing me bad luck, Duke. Ever since your wife died, we hadn't caught jack shit.
A surreal and dramatic thriller such as this is never going to do massive numbers at the box office. What it should be able to do, however, is make back a budget of $25 million, especially when it involves such an impressive and recognizable cast, including Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Diane Lane, Jason Clarke, and Jimon Hounsou. Apparently, following test screenings, the distributor knew exactly what they had on their hands, and so the marketing budget was drastically reduced, dooming the film to come and go from theaters with minimal attention to the tune of $11.4 million. It's a hard film to watch. The only success Serenity has any hopes of finding is in the so bad it's good sense.
I quit! Yeah!
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1, Dark Phoenix.
I'm sorry for what she did, but I can't let you go in there.
You're always sorry, Charles, and there's always a speech.
So this is the way the world ends for Fox's X-Men franchise. Not with a bang, but a whimper. With 2017's Logan and 2018's Deadpool 2, the franchise proved that it still had something to offer by venturing into new territory. So it's a real shame that for 20th Century Fox's last X-Men film, they decided to revisit one of the franchise's greatest failures, the Phoenix Saga, and mess it up all over again. Even before this film hit theaters, substantial reshoots and production issues made it clear that this Phoenix was going down in flames. It was an unworthy send-off that, despite recouping its basic budget, still lost millions in ancillary costs.
It's funny. I can't actually remember the last time you were the one risking something. And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.